Today on The Report, a terrible accident leaves one of our own CSUF students in a coma.
Plus, new LA water restrictions. How will you be affected?
And ASI Spring Concert headliners had Titans dancing all night. All this and more. The Report starts now. Hello, I'm Jessica Gonzalez.
I'm Marissa Flores.
And I'm Amanda Mendoza. Follow us on Twitter at The Report CSUF or on our Time TV Instagram at Time TV CSUF to keep in touch with us and view our new content.
Today, we are saddened to report the devastating news of one of our own students who remains in a coma after a tragic accident. A celebration turned into a nightmare for Cal State Fullerton student Alondra Romero, who was struck by a car and remains in critical condition after her 10-day trip to Puerto Rico. Romero traveled to the island of Puerto Rico with friends to celebrate their upcoming graduation from Cal State Fullerton in a couple of weeks. But while touring the island, the 23-year-old decided to take over as the driver, and as she got out of the vehicle, a passing car struck her. She was rushed to a hospital, where she remains in a coma with a ventilator, and half of her body was casted since the impact broke her bones from the waist down. Romero's family has started a GoFundMe page, and referencing her sister's condition, Alondra's sister, Stephanie Romero, said, quote, "My sister has opened her eyes. They are reducing sedatives daily, and she's gaining more consciousness. She still can't respond, but is able to hear us. Keep praying," end quote. We wish Alondra a fast recovery and send our prayers to her and the family. Well, such a really sad story, and especially so close to home, one of our own fellow students. I mean, she had just taken her graduation pictures days before this accident had taken place. So seeing those photos side by side of her popping a champagne bottle in front of, our Cal State Fullerton sign in front of campus, to then seeing another photo of her on a ventilator and in the emergency room, it's just really sad because this is supposed to be an otherwise really happy time for students where they're, reaching the finish line and they just finished up. So it's really sad to see that on one second she's feeling triumphant and on top of the world to now literally fighting for her life and just fighting to survive. No one should have to go through something like that, especially at, like I said, an otherwise triumphant time in their lives.
So that was absolutely awful what happened, and it goes to show you that tragedy just does not discriminate whether you're young or whether you're old. It can happen at any time. And so my heart goes out to the Romero family for everything that happened, and I sincerely wish for her recovery.
Right. I think all of us here at Fullerton are praying for a happy, healthy, safe outcome out of this situation, and I'm praying for everyone involved. And this hurts our campus to the core, and we will continue to follow this story. If you would like to donate to the GoFundMe page for the Romero family, you can do so at the link below. And in more tragic local news, a mother and her teen son have been arrested after 3 children were found dead in a West Hills home on Mother's Day. Angela Flores and 4 of her 6 children have moved to West Hills, Los Angeles 3 months ago. They seemed to be a normal family until neighbors were met with the truth. The bodies of the Flores children, 12-year-old Natalie, 10-year-old Kevin, and 8-year-old Nathan, were found dead after police were called to the scene after an apparent mental breakdown by Miss Flores. The children's mother admitted to killing them with the help of a 16-year-old, which is believed to be her own son. Flores openly admitted to the murders leading to her arrest. Witnesses of the episode shared that they heard a woman screaming in another neighbor's yard and saying, quote, "My family's abusing me," end quote. She was frantically asking for her Bible. Then Flores tells another neighbor, quote, "You know I killed my children," end quote. Flores' bail was set at a $6 million, and upon confession, the 16-year-old was detained with no bail at Sylmar Juvenile Hall. This story is unbelievably tragic. I can't even believe I'm reporting about it, but I'm kind of curious what you guys think about the outcome of the situation. Like I said, Miss Flores was set on a $6 million bail, and the son, the 16-year-old accomplice, was set with no bail. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that and what made the court come up with that decision.
Yeah. Well, while I can't speak for the court in their decision, I could definitely see where this decision came from, and I could almost agree with it in a way, especially considering he's 16, he's still a minor. We don't know what on in that house, and knowing that she has a sort of mental illness problem, not to say that he has that as well, but if he were to be put out on bail, since he is a minor, we don't know the possibility of him committing this act again or killing again if he were out on the street, because his mind still isn't fully developed as a minor. That usually happens around 25. Like I said, we don't know what on in that house. We don't know how much of a threat or danger he really is, depending on how much time he also spent with Miss Flores, or what kind of things she put in his head to like make him think this was okay. So I could kind of see where that decision came from, because normally they won't grant bail to people who are a threat to society and, you know, might be a harm to others. But I think, like a lot of stories we've covered this semester, this goes back to a mental health issue. While it's not the neighbor's responsibility to keep an eye on the house and know the mother's mental health status 24/7, I think if anyone at all knew, family members, whoever knew that the kids were in her care and knew the kind of conditions that she had going on in her mind, that something should have been done before tragedy took place. This shouldn't happen to any kid at all.
Right. I personally think that both should have had no bail, because regardless of whether it was the mother or the son, I think they both pose equal threats, because personally, I believe that 16, no matter what influence you're under, I mean, I think this should be kind of obvious for anyone, but you shouldn't kill anyone, whether it's your siblings, no matter what age. And in regards to mental health, actually, there was a recent report from the New York Post that she was actually on trial recently, and it turns out that she believed that her kids were possessed by demons, that she needed to attack them to get them out. And so I think that does kind of continue the conversation of mental illness. And so I think that's something we should really consider in the future. Truly horrible news. Child abuse is always a serious and heart-wrenching matter. And as for a seemingly modern and not so romantic Romeo and Juliet reality, a former corrections officer from Alabama was pronounced dead from self-imposed injury following her assistance in escaping a convicted capital murder prisoner from Lauderdale County Jail. 56-year-old ex-officer Vicky White and 38-year-old escapee Casey White had sparked a relationship prior to the plan to run off together. After an 11-day-long police chase, the couple were arrested in Indiana once the vehicle had wrecked. It was then that Casey turned himself into police, stating that his wife had fatally shot herself in the head. Records showed that Casey and Vicky had never actually been married. The escape had been initiated on April 29th, something Vicky had been plotting for quite some time, selling her home and declaring her retirement from her duties as a corrections officer. The two fled in Vicky's police vehicle, but were spotted in a gray Cadillac, where the chase ended in the crash.
Well, the summer's heat has a tight hold on California's water. As the season approaches, LA's Mayor Eric Garcetti is preparing for a worst-case scenario. He announced on Tuesday that LA Department of Water and Power customers will be permitted only 2 days of outdoor watering in a week starting June 1st. Those with odd-numbered street addresses will be assigned Mondays and Fridays, and even-numbered street addresses will be given Thursdays and Sundays. Watering hours will also be limited to early mornings and evenings, and will be prohibited between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. These new rules come in addition to those that already exist, and anyone to violate them will receive a warning and could be fined. These regulations come after the U.S. Drought Monitor reported that more than 40% of California is in extreme drought and in its third consecutive year, and the highest usage being in the month of March, despite record droughts. Well, unfortunately, with the current environmental status of our Earth, I don't think these droughts are going to go away anytime soon. I only see things getting hotter. I only see more restrictions being put into play here. But that being said, I'm sure a lot of people are maybe not upset, but maybe sad to see them put into place, only because, in my opinion, I think all this means for people is more brown lawns, which I know some people might have a problem with. But I don't know. I think personally I'd be fine with it if that means that we're watching how much water we're using, especially like I said, in the times we're living in where these extreme hot conditions. However, all that being said, I think it's our responsibility as humans to reserve all the water we can, whether that mean shorter showers, not as many car washes, because a lot of these droughts come from climate change, and climate change comes from human activity. So I think it basically all comes down to us, whether it be watching how much energy we use, like I said, watching our carbon footprint and keeping an eye on making sure how much waste we're producing and managing it as well.
I agree, and I'd say that at the worst possible situation, it's an inconvenience, kind of like you mentioned, we might have brown lawns, but I think it's worth it in terms of ensuring that more people will have access to water in the future. And so actually, after the December storms, only 1% of the state was in extreme drought compared to now, as we just mentioned, with it being 40%. And also researchers estimate that 42% of the drought can be attributed to climate change caused by humans. So as you mentioned, I don't think this problem is going to relieve itself very much anytime soon. So I think the concern is warranted. And I was actually looking up some articles about how we can conserve water in our own homes. And one of these suggestions was buying drought-tolerant plants for landscaping. I know some people who like to do like the dry-scaping type of deal where they have tons of drought-tolerant plants, and taking shorter showers and reuse water for plants whenever you can.
Right. Like you guys said, this is a very important issue, and I think you're right. Probably homeowners are probably annoyed with this, thinking, oh, I can't water my lawn, I can't take long showers, whatever the situation is. But they have to understand that this is has a lasting effect on our planet. Like you said, that 40%, 2022 is California's driest year on record, and I think people need to realize that's like a huge major issue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, every college student's dream was fulfilled for the graduating class at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas, a school historically known for the primarily Black demographic. The school's president, Herman J. Felton Jr., announced at the ceremony that an anonymous donor paid off the debt of all graduates. The school says the total amount owed and paid came off to around $300,000. The class of 2022 consisted of about 100 students, and they will all begin their careers debt-free. President Felton said, quote, "If you have a balance, you had a balance," end quote. As a college student, I can definitely say that is a dream come true and a miracle come true. Congrats to that class. I mean, it's great. It's sad that this is such a huge debt that college students have to face, and the fact that this is wiped away from them, I think that's great, and I'm glad that they can start their career debt-free. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good news. I mean, like you said, student loans are something that hang over students' heads, and oftentimes it takes a really negative toll on their mental health. It can be a really big stressor. Even after graduating, they still have that, that cloud over their heads. So I think it's a really great thing that whoever this donor is, that they did, and hopefully we can start seeing a trend with other schools, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully here.
Yeah, right?
But I agree, people don't really comprehend how much debt can take a toll on someone's life, right? For example, if you have tons of college debt, you have to reconsider your career options, where you live, your budgeting, your expenses. And so I like to say that's absolutely amazing what this anonymous donor did. And so I'm really excited for all the students who were able to receive this gift. That's so exciting for those college students. So a big congratulations to them. Meanwhile, college students here at Cal State Fullerton had Adorn singer Miguel and Lights Down Low singer Max Schneider perform right here on campus in ASI's 2022 spring concert and had Titans singing their hearts out. Being the first spring concert since the pandemic, Titans were excited to be surrounded in an environment filled with great food and music. Miguel, who was raised in San Pedro, California, sang the big hits Sure Thing, How Many Drinks, and How Many More to a crowd filled of Titans from all majors who are about to be facing finals week. So I attended on Saturday, and to me, I really think it was such a blast. So although I haven't heard many Miguel's hits, I did remember his song Vixen, which I absolutely love. And Max sang one of my favorite songs by him called Blueberry Eyes. He sang that with a member of BTS named Suga, and I thought that was just so cool to hear that live here on campus. So did you guys attend?
I actually didn't get to attend. I had some early Mother's Day plans that we were doing in Newport Beach, riding bikes and stuff. It was definitely a lot of fun, but I definitely had some FOMO when I was seeing everyone's Instagram stories, because I'm a huge R&B fan, so Miguel, I know a lot of his songs, and I wish I could have been there. And also Max Schneider, I know he was in a Nickelodeon movie I used to watch when I was little that I was a huge fan on, and I had a big crush on him, so I was really sad I couldn't go, but I was really happy I got to spend time with family still.
I didn't get to go either, and Miguel's one of my favorite artists, and I was very sad. But I saw everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, it looked like he had so much fun. I saw your post too. I was very jealous. I'm sad because it is my last ASI concert here at school. So, and speaking of last, this is the last episode of the report too.
I know.
That's crazy. I feel like it went by really fast. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I feel like everything just zoomed. I don't know. It went like a snap.
it felt like yesterday we were just started episode 1.
Right?
And now we're on episode 9, and that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from you two. So I'd like to thank you guys so much for collaborating on the report. It was just an absolutely amazing experience. I learned so much about anchoring and about news stories from all over the world, and I hope it made me a more dynamic person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been an event-filled semester for sure. We had so much to cover. And Jess, I know you're going to be leaving us, so it's going to be sad to see you go. For myself, it was my first semester here, so it was all brand new to me, but I definitely fell in love with the crew, the staff, you guys, so I definitely hope to be back next semester. It's such a fun environment just being here with you guys.
Same here.
Same.
And what a semester it's been indeed. A big thank you to our Titan TV crew, staff, faculty, interns, and volunteers. Without you, none of this would have been possible. A special shout out to our executive producer, Chris Adler, who couldn't be here today.
And of course, a huge thank you to all of our viewers who have followed us all semester long, keeping up with the updates.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you all in the fall. For now, I'm Amanda Mendoza.
I'm Marissa Flores.
And I'm Jessica Gonzalez, and congrats to our graduating Titans, and we'll see you on TV.